Welcome back. Today we're going to show you how to build this little foam plate glider. It's a really easy to make glider that flies very well. Couple of really simple steps. You're going to need the pattern. This is called the FPG 9 Foam Plate Glider 9 pattern. You could find this online. I will put a link to it in the description of this video. You're going to need a foam plate. You're going to need a pen, you're going to need some scissors, and packing tape or Scotch tape works really well. So the first thing we're going to do, we don't need any of this right now. The only thing we're going to need is the pattern and the scissors. We're going to cut this out. We're just going to go around the outline for now. This is going to be our trace pattern. So let's get busy. Okay, so here's the pattern cut out. One thing I did forget to mention as far as supplies go, it says penny, but I like to use these 1/4 inch nuts. It's just going to be a counterweight. I call it the pilot, and that's what helps balances the plane. You'll notice that's marked on here. We don't have to cut anything out for that. This is what I cut out. This is what we're going to trace onto the plate. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this on our plate, and we're going to try and match that curve to the edges of the plate. Okay, so about right there. Looks good, and you'll notice when we start to push this down, it doesn't quite go to the edge of the plate. That's fine. We're just going to draw our line to the edge of the plate. I recommend using a pen. They usually mark on the foam plates a whole lot better than a pencil does. And then we're just roughly, we're going to try and trace this pattern onto the plate. Now when we get to the back side is a little tricky. There's a couple of things we need to be aware of. The lines that we did not cut need to be marked. So there's, I believe, 8 or 9 of them. We'll show you those here in half a second. Okay, so we need to mark the elevons, ailerons, elevators combined. We need to mark these 2, 3, 4 lines. We need to mark this line, this line, this line, and then the 2 rudder lines. If we just push hard with our pen, it will leave a mark. We can come back and draw it if we want. We don't need to. We're just gonna push hard and kind of scratch those in. These, I like to just do a slit. We don't need to cut that big, huge chunk out. Tends to be a pretty good tight fit already. And we also, this line here, the dotted line, also needs cut. This piece is going to get cut off on the plate. Okay? So you can see we've got, just come back and make these lines a little darker. We've got something that looks like that. So now we're going to cut this out, and we are going to cut this piece off separate from this. All right, so here's our vertical stabilizer and rudder. These wingtips go up. So if we're looking at it like this, this is the top side of the airplane. Also, just FYI, the foam is pretty brittle. That's fine. If it does crack, it's really easy to tape back on. These are the elevons. We want those loose, the rudder as well. Okay, if they do fall completely off, again, we can put tape on. This is gonna go in right there, about like that. We're just gonna play with it till we get it about level. Usually it takes a little bit of tweaking, like that. That looks pretty good. And then come ask me for the pilot. The pilot's gonna get set right there. We fold this over and we'll give you a strip of tape. That's probably way too much tape. Let's cut that down just a little bit. So I'm going to put the tape on here like that. I'm going to set my pilot in there and we're just going to fold this over and stick it down. And if you are using a nut like this, it does like to slide out, so it's always a good idea to make sure you have the sides covered as well. Okay, so now we can go fly it. You can hold it by this and launch it this way. You can hold it with 3 fingers and a thumb this way and flip it that way. Just a reminder, we're not going to fly these in the shop, so when you get this finished, come show it to me and we'll get you ready to go fly. Make sure this has your name on it somewhere so we can tell whose is whose, and we're going to take them out and we're going to go fly.